All right, welcome back. Hope you're all having a great week. Today we're continuing our review of our fourth BCBA practice exam, where we're going through the next set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. If you're looking for our proven study materials, please check out behavioranalyststudy.com. We offer 3 practice exams, a task list study guide, and of course, our combo pack. Questions, comments, let us know. When you do pass, please let us know so we can include you in our Sunday shout out video. Other than that, work hard, study hard, get to our questions. 51. Halloween is coming up and your client is allergic to peanuts. You want them to participate in trick-or-treating, but you also want to keep them safe. Which of the following strategies would be best to use in this situation? First things first, we are looking for the best answer here, meaning there might be more than one strategy you could use, but you want to apply all your knowledge and pick the best one. So what are we trying to teach? Well, we know our client is allergic to peanuts, so we have to teach them a safety skill. And you want them to participate in trick or treating, meaning in order to keep them safe, they're going to have to identify candy and treats that may have peanuts. And to do that, what skills do they need? That's a question you're asking yourself. What skills do I need to teach to my client that's going to protect them from a potential allergic reaction? So A, teach the client to ask the homeowner if the candy has any peanuts in it. This is viable, right? We could teach them this strategy, and in some cases, it would be effective. But we have to consider a bunch of things. What if there is no homeowner outside? What if our client can't speak? What if they ask the wrong question? There's a lot of variables that go into A that we need to consider. Is it the simplest way to keep them safe? So far, it's the best one, but we need to read all of our answer choices. B, teach the client to read the sign that says, take one piece only, please. Is that relevant to the problem at hand? It's not. Reading is important, but we want to keep them safe and to identify potential candies that they're allergic to. Reading the sign is not going to help that. C, teach the client to identify different types of candy. Why is C better than A? Well, C is better than A because it doesn't involve a homeowner. It doesn't even involve communication. The client, all they have to do is look at candy A and candy B and then compare them. It's a simple discrimination skill. And if we can teach that simple skill, we can quickly and effectively keep them safe. So C is going to be better than A. And then D, teach the client how to take candy from different types of bowls. Again, not really relevant to identifying candy with peanuts in it or food with peanuts in it. So not going to help us here. A is not a bad skill to teach, but we're looking for the best answer here, and the best answer is going to be C. We want to teach the client to identify different types of candy. It's the quickest, it's the simplest, and they can do it all by themselves, right? It doesn't require a lot of other skills and variables to go along with it. 52, there are several major elections about to take place across the country over the next week. Mail-in ballots provide the opportunity for more people to vote in these elections from their homes. What type of measurement would ballots fall under relative to the people counting the ballots? Couple of things to note. First, it's relative to the people counting the ballots. So we have to consider this measurement as far as the people counting the ballots are concerned. So measurement, we have continuous, we have discontinuous, and then we have permanent product. Now, one of those sounds pretty good right about now because the people counting the ballots, are they watching the people at home vote? They're not. Are they watching the people at home mail in the ballots? They're not. All they're seeing is the result of the voting in the mailing. So what measurement is it where we only see the result or the outcome of the behavior? A, rate. Now, frequency will probably be a good measurement for these people counting ballots, but rate's not going to be very helpful unless we're trying to measure their behavior, which we're not. Okay, so rate's not going to be useful here for us. B, ABC recording. Are the people counting the ballots worried about the antecedents and consequences? Not really. They're just worried about what does the vote say. So C, permanent product, is really what we're looking for. They collect the ballots. They don't see the votes or the people voting. They don't see the people mailing it in. They don't see any of that. They just see the results of all those behaviors. The people counting the ballots have the permanent product. And then play check is just a type of momentary time sampling used for groups. Not what we're doing here. We're not taking any time sampling data. people counting the ballots are concerned with the permanent product of these ballots so that they can figure out who voted for who. 53. Look at the graphic below. What type of reinforcement schedule does this most likely represent? Okay, kind of a different question. It's kind of a teaching question, right? This is practice. We're learning. We need to expose ourselves to as much information as we can, okay? And this is a good question to do that. So we're looking at this graphic and thinking about reinforcement schedules. And it's going to be a basic reinforcement schedule. Now, we know we have fixed and we know we have variable. A good thing to keep in mind, well, one, a fixed interval is going to be scalloped, right? We need to know that. But two, if you see a graph like this where it's flat, increase, flat, increase, flat, increase, think fixed, because this features post-reinforcement pauses. If this line is just straight, then it's variable because that responding is steady. So you can witness here the post-reinforcement pause, the responding, post-reinforcement pause, the responding. And to produce that, you need a fixed schedule. And since this isn't scalloped, this is straight, it's going to be a fixed ratio. So just a couple tips to remember about our basic reinforcement schedules. 54. Although extinction bursts result in an initial increase in the frequency of the targeted behavior, an extinction burst can also be a positive signal to behavior analysts. Why is that? Why do behavior analysts get excited about extinction burst? Why do we teach extinction burst? Why do we explain to parents and other stakeholders that we need to work through extinction burst? Because extinction bursts are positive signals. They tell us something about our intervention. What do they tell us about our intervention? A, the extinction burst signals that extinction will definitely be effective. Be very careful about these absolute words, right? Definitely and for sure and absolutely. Strong answers you have to really be careful about, okay? There's very little we can guarantee in our practice. And just because we get an extinction burst doesn't mean extinction is going to be effective. A lot of things can go wrong. B, the extinction burst signals the maintaining reinforcer was identified. Now, what does that mean? Well, with extinction, what are we doing? We're withholding reinforcement. And to withhold reinforcement, you need to first identify the reinforcer maintaining the behavior. So if we have identified the maintaining reinforcer, we withhold it and we see an extinction burst, that's going to tell us that so far extinction is effective and we found the right reinforcer. So B looks pretty good. C, the extinction burst signals that extinction is occurring 100% of the time. Well, rarely, if ever, will extinction occur 100% of the time. It's just not realistic, right? Extinction, we want it to occur as close to 100%, but we can't expect 100%. So extinction burst is not signaling that extinction is occurring 100% of the time. Don't get fooled by that. And then D, the extinction burst is designed to start reducing extinction. On the contrary, we might want to really hit it even harder, right? Increase our effort, pump everybody up, say we have an extinction burst, we're close, right? We're close to that behavior decreasing. So a positive signal from extinction burst is that the extinction burst signals the maintaining reinforcer was identified. We did a good job of figuring out what was maintaining that behavior, and now we're doing a good job of withholding that maintaining reinforcer. 55. Which of the following options features the most parsimonious explanation? Okay, when you have your attitude question, your dimension questions, ask yourself and define in your head the different attitudes and dimensions, okay? Because these can get pretty tricky. This one's pretty easy. We're dealing with parsimony, one of the more simpler ones. It just says the most simple explanation, right? Or the least assumptions. So think those two things. When you think parsimony, think simple, think least assumptions. So if we're looking for the option which features the most parsimonious explanation, we're looking for an option with very little assumptions and very simple. So A, Jane did not attend your party because she knew her ex-boyfriend would be there. How many assumptions do we make? We only make one, right? That Jane did not attend because she knew her ex-boyfriend would be there, right? She didn't attend. That isn't an assumption. The assumption is because she knew her ex-boyfriend would be there. So we have one assumption. B, because he got a bad night's sleep and is anxious about the exam tomorrow, Greg did not eat his lunch. So we have two assumptions here, which is more than one. C, the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl because the Chiefs, Bengals, Titans, and Bills have no chance. A lot of assumptions here, right? We are guaranteeing the Eagles are winning. but we're assuming all these other teams can't win. That is a lot of assumptions, okay? Too many assumptions compared to A, which features 1, is very simple, very parsimonious. And then D, the bartender intentionally ignored you, assumption, because you tipped them poorly last time. You're assuming you ignored you because you tipped them poorly, and you're assuming they remember you. Again, a lot of assumptions. The simplest, least assumption explanation is going to be A. Jane did not attend your party because she knew her ex-boyfriend would be there. It's parsimony. Not many assumptions. Very simple answer. Let's go with it. 56. Kit, a BCBA, is reviewing case data one day and notices a discrepancy that started a week ago. There's a sudden increase in frequency of the clapping, but the RBT has not said anything. When Kit goes out for supervision, he notices that the RBT is taking frequency data on clapping and on jumping up and down. What likely explains the data discrepancy? Long question. Long, wordy question. You need to slow down. Do not jump to the answer choices. Slow down. Figure out what the question is asking. So we're looking at the data discrepancy. And we know there's a discrepancy that started a week ago. Suddenly, an increase in frequency of clapping. Kit goes out and supervises, and he sees the RBTs taking frequency data on clapping and on jumping up and down. So what has changed? Ask yourself that. There's an increase in frequency of the clapping, which is our behavior. The RBT is measuring what? RBT is measuring clapping and jumping up and down. So what they're measuring has changed. So A, reactivity. Is it due to reactivity? Well, no, because the data discrepancy started a week ago, and the RBT is incorrectly measuring even when Kit is there. So there is not really any sign of reactivity. B, observer drift. Has the measurement changed? Has what we're measuring changed? Has it led to an error? It has. Whatever the RBT is looking at has changed. Their measurement has changed. Observer drift is occurring. It happens. See, treatment drift. Has the treatment changed? We don't know what the treatment is. There's no indication treatment's changed. We do know what is being measured and how it's being measured has changed. And then naive observer. Neither Kit nor the RBT is a naive observer. They know what they're doing. They know why they're doing it. They're not naive. So what explains the data discrepancy? Most likely observer drift. The RBT simply is measuring the wrong thing. That's why we supervise, because we go in there, brief training, get everybody back on track, and keep rolling along, right? It's going to happen. You have to be on the lookout for these things as a BCBA. Kit caught it, he went out, and he fixed it. Okay, the RBT just ended up measuring something different than what they are intending to measure. They are experiencing observer drift. 57. A baby stroller has a hood that can be put up and put down as needed. Whenever the hood is up, the sun does not get in the baby's eyes. Whenever the hood is down, the sun will shine into the baby's eyes and the baby will sneeze. This happens anytime the sun shines on the baby. This is most likely a blank behavior. Behavior questions. Make sure we know what behavior we're looking at. What behavior are we looking at? We're looking at the baby sneezing. We know the baby stroller has a hood that can be put up and down. Whenever the hood is up, the sun does not get in the baby's eyes. There's no sneezing. Whenever the hood is down, the sun will shine into the baby's eyes and the baby will sneeze. So the change is the sun, the introduction of the stimulus. The reflex is the baby will sneeze. Happens anytime the sun shines on the baby. So the stimulus is sun shining. The reflex is sneeze. And why is it a reflex? Well, because this is a respondent behavior. Sweating, sneezing, breathing, blinking, heart beating faster. All these things are reflexes. They're all part of respondent behavior. There's no consequence here. It's a stimulus response SR contingency. It is an operant, okay, because it's not maintained by any consequence. It's an SR contingency. It's a respondent behavior. It isn't consequence shaped. Consequence shaped is just simply operant, said a different way. And then none of the above is incorrect because we know this is going to be a respondent behavior. Sneezing is the reflex. The sun shining is the stimulus. 58. Scientists just discovered a miracle drug that stops all the effects of aging. The drug works on mice with nearly 100% success rate. What should the scientists be concerned with if they want the drug to be used with humans? I think this is a fairly easy question if you know your terms, if you're fluent. So what is going on in this question? The scientists want it to be used in humans. They've so far used it on a bunch of mice. They want to generalize it, right? They have a lot of internal validity, 100% success rate on multiple mice, right? It's amazing, okay? Huge internal validity. Now we got to go outside of our little population, okay? So we know it's not internal validity, not sequence effects. Sequence effects have to do with condition to condition affecting what's happening in other conditions. We're worried about external validity. We're worried about the generality of this experiment. Will this drug work outside of the mice? We need to find out if it's going to work in humans. That's what they're concerned with. Experimental design, not really relevant. We're not sure what their experimental design is or was. Doesn't really matter. They want to take this drug that works on mice and want it to generalize to humans. They need external validity. 59. Two researchers are taking data on the same subject. First researcher records the following frequencies: 3, 4, 3, 2. Second researcher records the following frequencies: 3, 3, 4, 2. Use exact count per interval IOA to determine the IOA. Inter-observer agreement. On the study guide, we've got several listed. The only way to learn these is just do them a few times. Just got to kind of brute force it, okay? And once you know it, it's pretty easy, okay? If you get a question on the exam, you can easily answer it. Easy points, okay? Good. So we're looking for exact count per interval IOA. What we're doing here is we're going interval by interval by interval, and we're comparing the data. If the data is the same, then it's IOA. It has IOA. If the data is not the same, there is no IOA. Simple as that. You add up total IOA divided by total numbers. There you go. So first interval, 3, 3. Is there IOA? Yes, we're 1 for 1. Second interval, 4, 3. Is there IOA? No. So 1 for 2. 3, 4. IOA? No. 3, 2, 2. IOA? Yes. 2 for 4. Divide 2 by 4. You get 50%. Exact count per interval IOA is 50%. IOA is that easy as long as you understand what it's asking. Okay, you just have to do them a few times. You'll get them down. No big deal. My recommendation is to do these kind of last. Don't spend a lot of time up front on it. There's a lot more important things to do, like fluency, right? At the end of your studying, near the end, start looking about exact, or I should say, the formulas for the different IOAs. And then 60, when adding and removing interventions or treatments, what are you attempting to control? We want to establish functional control. We want to establish experimental control. How do we determine that? Well, we have to look at how the behavior changes. So if we're adding and removing interventions or treatments, those are our independent variables. And when we're adding and removing our independent variables, we're attempting to control the dependent variables, right? We're adding and removing things and watching as that behavior changes. We're not looking at independent variables. We're trying to control the DV. The confound and the extraneous variables are all the other things going on around us, okay? Confounds are these other things around us that we don't want to affect our experiment, but they do. We can't control those, right? We fail to control those, okay? So when adding or removing interventions or IVs, we're looking to control the DV. Awesome. Check out behavioranalyststudy.com for BCBA study materials. Like and please subscribe. When you pass, let us know so we can include you in our Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.